And so talking a lot about this, President Trump and his cabinet members. Let's go back live to that meeting where he's now taking questions from reporters.
Looking ahead, what guarantees Hamas disarms and that Israel doesn't resume bombing once the hostages are released?
The first thing we're doing is getting our hostages back, okay? And that's what people wanted more than anything else. They wanted these hostages back that have lived in hell like nobody has ever even dreamt possible. And after that, we'll see. But they've agreed to things, and I think it's going to move along pretty well.
But what is phase two? When does it begin?
I'm not going to talk about that because you sort of know what phase two is, but there will be disarming, there will be pullbacks, there will be a lot of things that are happening. You know, I gave you a whole list of 22 different things that will take place. And I think it'll take place, and I think you're going to end up with peace in the Middle East. But we have to get our hostages back. And we weren't going to do it at the end. We're going to do it at the beginning. We said we want them at the beginning. We're not doing it. You know, we got the hostages back. We did, as a group, with Steve and Jared and Marco and me and all of us. We got the hostages back. We got many of them back. Many, unfortunately, were dead. But we got many back that are now living with their families, with their parents in many cases, and with their husbands, families, wives. Many of them, they celebrate all over. They're the ones that are celebrating the loudest. They're all over. There are a lot of them that we got out. But the last 20, and I always said the last ones are going to be the most difficult. But it's been a very big deal getting the hostages out. But the rest is going to take place too.
And can you promise Palestinians they will be able to stay?
Well, they know exactly what we're doing. We're going to create something where people can live. You can't live right now in Gaza. The place it's a horrible situation. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. So yeah, we're going to create better conditions for people. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, excuse me, what kind of security guarantees is the United States going to make for Gaza?
Well, we're going to work with very wealthy countries that love people, frankly. I know them very well. They love people, but they love Arab people, and they love Muslims, and they love, I think right now they love everybody, and they're immensely wealthy, and they're going to be involved in putting up money, and for them it's a small amount of money. For somebody else it's a large amount of money, but you know, these are the wealthiest countries in the world, and they'll be very much involved in making it as good as possible.
And what's your take now on a two-state solution, sir? Just to follow up on that. What is your view now on a two-state solution for the...
I don't have a view. I'm going to go with what they agreed to.
Mr. President, given that there are some tough provisions for Israel in this agreement, are you at all concerned that Bibi Netanyahu may not continue in his post? He may be deposed?
That Bibi may go a little bit out of whack?
That he may no longer be prime minister when this is over?
Look, that's politics. It could be. I don't know. I think he's very popular right now. He's much more popular today than he was 5 days ago. I can tell you. Right now, I think maybe people shouldn't run against him. 5 days ago, it might not have been a bad idea. No, Bibi's become... This has been a very good thing. I don't think he did it for that reason, okay? But I think just looking as an analyst would look at this, I think Bibi should be very popular right now. Yeah, please.
What will happen if Hamas says that it cannot locate or was not able to find all of the deceased hostages' bodies within the time frame?
Well, we'll have to see. I think that's going to be, it's largely been answered. We know where most of them are. Actually, the bodies are a bigger problem because some of the bodies are going to be a little bit hard to find. It's a terrible thing to discuss even, but you understand, we're all people, we're grown-ups, we understand life. Nobody can understand this stuff because this could have taken place, but we have the hostages for the most part, and so I don't think it's going to be overly big. The situation with the bodies, you know, they say 28. Some are going to be a little bit hard to find, but we're going to do the best we can. Yeah, please.
If they don't find them within the time frame.
Please.
Thank you, sir. Regarding Jared Kushner's role in the negotiations, can you explain a little bit about why he came on at the last minute? And then in regards to the WIC program that the Vice President mentioned, do you know when the funding that you promised through the tariff revenue will actually go through to communities? Because there's reports that WIC providers are actually starting to close down today.
Well, okay, let me just answer the Jared. So Jared's a very smart guy. He did the Abraham Accords. As some people say, the Abraham, which I love the way that sounds, but he did the Abraham Accords. It was a great thing. 4 big countries joined. If I were president, if the election would have been a correct election, which it wasn't, you'd have every country in there. Maybe even Iran would have been in there, frankly. But you'd have every country in. Now, by the way, that's going to be filled up rather quickly. People want to join the Abraham Accords. And I put Jared there because he's a very smart person, and he knows the region, knows the people, knows a lot of the players. And the combination of him and Steve Witkoff and Marco and Cooper, who is, as I hear, has been fantastic, and others that were involved. JD was very much involved. I mean, we had a very smart group of people working. We had a lot of different players, different countries, and very diverse countries, very different from each other. They had certain things in common, but they had a lot of things, mostly things that were not at all common to their countries. So we had a very smart group of people. These are high IQ people. Okay, I talk about how many low IQ people we have in our government. We got some real low ones, but some shockingly low. But these are very high IQ people, and that's what we want. I like high IQ people. Yeah.
Mr. President, thank you. Can I ask you about the China? You're meeting with President Xi. The Chinese have now set to put in new export controls on rare earth minerals, and they've stopped buying soybeans from the U.S. What do you hope to get out of that meeting now with President Xi?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I just heard this a little while ago before we came in, so I haven't been briefed on it. The export. I mean, look, we have the ultimate export. We have import, and we have export. We import from China massive amounts, and maybe we'll have to stop doing that. But I don't know exactly what it is. Neither do you. Neither does anybody.
Okay, so history being written in real time. President Donald Trump there addressing reporters who have many questions about how this deal will work between Hamas and Israel, and then, of course, how it will play out once Israeli cabinet members vote to greenlight this U.S.-backed peace deal. So let's get granular. Let's go to the White House and CBS News White House chief correspondent Nancy Cordes. So, Nancy, we've heard of Phase 1 deal before. We never got to Phase 2. How is this deal different?
Right. The biggest way in which this is different, Reed, is that under this deal, Hamas would release all of the living hostages in one fell swoop. There's about 20 of them. The Israelis believe they would all be released as part of Phase 1, and Israel would release Palestinian prisoners at the same time. This is still a multi-part deal where the two sides need to build trust as they move to successive phases. But in this case, by front-loading the release of all of the hostages, that would be seen as a massive victory for the Israelis, something that they have been hoping for and working towards for just over 2 years now. And the belief is that, that if that goes off smoothly, which the president just said in that meeting that he believes it'll happen on Monday or Tuesday, and if humanitarian aid, which is also part of the deal, starts flowing into Gaza, that would build up trust that could then lead to the later phases.
Well, and you see from the video on both sides of this horrible, horrible war celebration, and I'm reminded of what Marco Rubio said, that this is a human story. My heart is with the families of the hostages whose bodies, the question mark is over whether all of those bodies will be found and returned to their families. It doesn't sound like the president has confidence, at least 100%, that all of those bodies can be returned.
Right. He was asked whether they could be returned, how long it would take, and he said in some cases it will be difficult, that this is, after all, a territory that has been racked by war for 2 years. Hamas leadership continuously shifting and moving to try to get one step ahead of the Israeli Defense Forces. So they may still have possession of some of those remains, and they may not have possession of others. We know that hostages were held and in some cases killed in many different areas around the Gaza Strip. And so, that is a painful question, but it is definitely an open question, Reed, as we watch to see how this all unfolds.
Nancy Cordes, CBS News Chief White House Correspondent, always an honor. You are literally front row to history today. Thank you so much, friend.